Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here with Trinity Stamps. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you this fun under the sea scene with a message in a bottle. I am using a brand new stencil set for this card that is magical. It's amazing. It's the Underwater Adventure Stencil set. There are 3 stencils and masks to go with this so you can create this really cool scene. So I'm showing you all the pieces here so you can see what comes in the stencil set. There are like 2 layers in one on this set, or this particular stencil. There's also some fish on the stencil, but I don't end up using those on my card. But this is the stencil that makes it magical, the rays of light that shine through the water. I love it. So I am going to start with this scene right here. I'm using my Blending Buddy brush, and you can see it has a new color clip on it. I love that. So all my brushes have a little indicator that tells me what color that brush is for. I have them on a little like Lazy Susan on the top of my shelf. I can spin it around, pick my color. I am loving it. So I'm using some gray ink to do this kind of rock feature on this particular stencil. I love how there's like a little opening, like you can, like the fish can swim through that rock feature. I think it's really cool. All right, so next I am using bamboo ink from Altenew to add color to my coral. I think some of it's seaweed, some of it's coral, so you could do different colors on the 2 of these things, but I just went with green and stuck with that. And then I'm using some light brown ink. I think this is hazelnut. I wasn't paying attention when I showed myself the ink pad lid there. So just a light brown because I am going to be doing 3 different layers. So you gotta pull out your like oxide inks would be really good for this because they layer up so nice, or your distress inks. These are just dye-based inks and they seem to layer and blend just fine, but there's that little opening. Love it. Okay, so now we're gonna go a little darker on the ink here and use the next stencil. So this one's got, you can see different plants, different coral on it, but again, I'm just using green on mine, but you could really just have fun with this stencil. It is so very cool. I love this underwater scene, and we have a lot of things in the Trinity Stamps shop in our June release that are ocean themed. So you'll see a die set that I'm going to use on this card today too, but we've got like a mermaid stamp set, dolphins, a die with like this really colorful fish. You can paper piece in the scales, like some really cool things that you could add to this. So yeah, make sure that you check out the new release if you have not. Plus we also have like a bunch of birthday things. One was like a pirate birthday set. Very fun. All right, so now when you flip this stencil over, you have that just skinny portion, and you could use any of these stencils without the other pieces, but they layer up so good. I love it. So next we're going to do some masking. Like I said, this stencil set comes with masks, and this is what's going to allow me to add the blue part, the water, to my card. So I am using my little magnetic mat here to hold everything down, and then I can start adding the blue. So I'm going to use 2 different colors of blue. I think I use like turquoise and galactic stream or something. And then once I got to the plants, I was kind of adding the ink and like brushing it up towards the surface of the water, and I was really loving that look. So I think it kind of adds to like the color, the light coming down, but the water's kind of going up from the plants. I don't know. I liked it, so I went with it. So look at how amazing that looks. Also, when I do my masks, I try to move the masks down a little bit because if I line it up exactly, you can get a little bit of a white halo around things that you're masking. So I have a little bit of that, and that's why I brought the brush back in to kind of add a little bit of blue there. I made sure that was really dry because the next color I'm coming in with is white ink. And also I don't want to pick up the color, which I felt like I was doing a tiny bit. So after each little ray of light, I am cleaning off my brush on a rag just so I don't like muddy anything up or smear anything, or you know, I don't want to contaminate things. So I also did a pouncing type motion or tapping so I didn't smear anything as well. So there it is. Oh my goodness, with the rays of light, it is so beautiful. All right, next I am bringing out a piece of vellum. If you didn't know, Trinity Stamps does have vellum in the shop, and I'm die cutting it out with this bottle, which is like a wine bottle die set, but I like it for this card and putting a message inside. I also die cut out the cork, which is so cute with the little embossed detail. I decided I would take my kind of turquoise blending brush without adding ink on it and just dust a light color around the edge, and that will help it look a little bit more 3D. Next, it's time to stamp our sentiment or our message in the bottle, which is from the See You Soon stamp set, and this message says see you soon. So I stamped that with some brown ink and then onto some kind of vanilla colored cardstock, and I'm just tearing around it to give it that aged look, and it was a little big for my bottle, so I just kept tearing till I got it the size that I wanted. And I think I wanted it to really look old, like it was, you know, done in like pirate times, I guess, like a really long time ago. And so I'm going to distress this a little bit. So again, I'm using my brown Blending Buddy brush without adding any ink. There's still plenty on there, and I want it to be really light, so it's really perfect. But then I wanted the very edge to be darker, so I brought in my stamp pad and just drug that along the edge. And you want to let that dry for a minute, especially if you're going to put it on the back of vellum. So I am just letting that set. And you'll notice when I'm adding my liquid glue to my elements that are going behind the vellum, I'm going to kind of smear it out with my finger, kind of tap on it, and it's not going to be this exact perfect dot. The glue's been spread out, and that just helps when you're gluing something to vellum. It kind of makes it a little bit more invisible. Next, I do have some vellum adhesive tape runner that works pretty good. I think if you didn't know I had tape runner behind this, you wouldn't notice it on the card, but because you know, you might notice it a little bit. But it disappears more once you kind of burnish it into the paper. So that's why you see me like really rubbing it down to help it disappear. So there is my message in a bottle, but we need to like elevate this a little bit, right? So I have the Mermaid Cove Die Set. This has all the fun things: plants, coral, fish, and 2 mermaids, which I die cut from some silver holographic paper. I just thought they looked shiny and fun in this paper, so I added it on. My husband thought that they were not very realistic in the silver paper, and I said, you know what? It is my underwater scene, so I get to decide. And I really like it, so I'm doing it. All right, so I'm just adding coral and plants and some little starfish in little clusters, and that gives a little bit of depth to my scene. So if you like the message in a bottle card, I have previously made a ship in a bottle card, and I'm gonna have a link to that one at the end of this one. So if you didn't catch that video from last year or so, you can watch that next if you love this one. And I do like a beach scene, so I've got some little tips and tricks for that as well. All right, so I'm just finishing up with all my Mermaid Cove die cut elements, which totally make the scene, and then I'm going to add some embellishment. So these are metallic matte copper confetti pieces. That's a lot to remember, but I did it. So these have like a brushed matte finish. They're so pretty, and I don't know if these would be like bits of sand or what they are, but they just embellish my scene. And like I said, it's my scene and I like them, so I put them there, and I think it looks great. So there they are. And then I also wanted to add some embellishments that kind of look like bubbles for the mermaid, so I'm going to pull out another brand new embellishment to add there, but not before adding it to my slimline card base. I thought the darker blue around the outside of that teal color really just helps draw your eye into the center. All right, next I am adding these Suncatcher Rhinestones, also brand new from this release. They go really well with my holographic mermaids. So I'll add 3 to each, and just, you know, it kind of looks like bubbles. So I love that finishing look for this card. I had so much fun making this message in a bottle card, and if you love it, make sure you catch my ship in a bottle card. I will have that linked for you at the end of this video and in the description box below. And if you want to check out any of the things I used, you'll find that down there as well. And if you love this video, then you should check out more videos from Trinity Stamps right here on our YouTube page. But you can also find us on Facebook and Instagram too for more inspiration. And I will see you all again very soon right here on the channel next week. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'll see you soon. Happy stamping. Bye.